Mesoamerican Folk Culture Aztecs, researched and presented by Lindsay Bates, Rebecca Hayes, Melissa Riley, and Marshall Hancock. Important people and leaders. The Aztec tribe originated back around the 13th century, being led by a variety of rulers. Following the construction of their first main city in the 1300s, Akemapichli became the first great leader of about 11 total leaders. He was not that great of a military leader, as he did not conquer and expand the empire, but he did bring many advancements to the culture. Leaders were called Tlatlani or Huaytlatlani, meaning one who speaks or great speaker. The next prominent leader was Itzcoatl. He performed many alliances with neighboring cultures to take down common enemies. He set the stage for the Aztecs to become a great empire in coming years. After Itzcoatl came Montezuma. Being king, he was also the leader of the army and excelled in that role. He helped to grow the landscape of the Aztec Empire. The commander of the army was usually the king himself. In about 1520, Herman Cortes arrived from Spain and put an end to the empire. Other important people in Aztec culture are the priests, as the leadership of the Aztec Empire was closely related to religion. The authority and prominence of priests was quite large. They legitimized the power of the king, as well as hosting a variety of ceremonies and human sacrifices. Beliefs. One of the major things that the Aztecs valued was humans to sacrifice to their gods. The Aztecs believed that the gods needed to be fed human blood as a way to give them strength to keep the universe intact. Because they needed this, it was important to get human sacrifices. The Aztec religion originated from the indigenous Aztecs of central Mexico. Like other Mesoamerican religions, it also practiced human sacrifice in connection with religious festivals, which are listed in the Aztec calendar. This polytheistic religion has many gods and goddesses. The Aztecs would often incorporate deities that were borrowed from other geographic regions and peoples into their religion. The cosmology of the Aztec religion divides the world into 13 heavens and 9 earthly layers. The first heaven overlaps the first terrestrial layer so that heaven and terrestrial layers meet at the surface of the earth. Each level is associated with a specific set of deities and astronomical objects. The most important celestial entities in Aztec religion are the sun, the moon, and the planet Venus, both as morning star and evening star. The Aztecs were popularly referred to as people of the sun. The Aztec worshipped many gods. Their main god was Huitzilopochtli. He was the god of war and sun. The Aztecs had many different gods, some more powerful than others. The Aztecs also had household gods to protect their homes. Most gods were harsh. The people believed that they had to keep their good gods away from their bad gods. Worship and sacrifice were very important parts of the Aztec society. They believed that if they didn't sacrifice properly, that the sun would not rise again and that the world would come to an end. The braver the warrior that was sacrificed, the better. Hence, it was considered to be an honor to be sacrificed. According to the ancient Aztec religion, it took gods 5 tries to create the world. These attempts were foiled because of infighting among the gods themselves. After he's knocked from his exalted position by the rivals, the first creator, Quetzalcoatl, turned into a jaguar and destroyed the world. And just a few of their gods here. Huitzilopochtli, the left-handed hummingbird god, was the god of war and sun, and also the founder of the Tenochtitlan. Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent god that represented the morning star, wind, and life. Tlaloc, the rain and storm god. Mixcoatl, the cloud serpent god that was incorporated into Aztec belief and represented war. And Chipe Totec, the flayed god that was associated with fertility. This deity was also incorporated from cultures under the Aztec Triple Alliance umbrella. So they actually had several holidays. We're only going to review 3 of them, but so some of their holidays are Aztec Rain Festival, homage to Cuauhtémoc Festival, New Fire Ceremonies Festival, celebration of Quecholi Festival, celebration of the vernal equinox at Chichen Itza Festival, Festival of Chipe Totec celebration, and the Festival of Chilonen celebration. The Aztec Rain Festival is celebrated 3 times a year. First at the beginning of the agricultural year in February, second in March, and third in fall. The first was carried out by a priest of shaman to encourage rainfall. The second was offered to Tlaloc and other gods to signify the arrival of the new life from the earth. The third was to encourage rainfall and was celebrated as the Aztec people formed shapes of small mountains and images of the god Tala. The new fire ceremony festival is celebrated every 52 years. At the end of the 52 years, the Aztecs were afraid the world would end. At this time, the most important and impressive festivals will be celebrated, and the old altar fire would be put out and a new one lit. On the day of the celebration, all the fires in the Valley of Mexico were extinguished before sundown. The end of this ritual was when the constellation of Pleiades passed, enabling life to continue. And then we have the Festival of Chilonen celebration, celebrated for 8 days beginning on June 22nd. Celebrated to honor the goddess of maize, Chilonen demanded human sacrifice during her ceremonies to sustain her interest in the favor of the people. Every night, unmarried girls would wear their hair down to represent their status. They carried around green corn in offering to the goddess. A slave girl was chosen to represent the goddess and dressed up. On the last night, she was sacrificed in a ceremony. And then games. So their first main game was the Ulamatlitsli. It's a basketball soccer-like game played on the court shaped like a capital I. The first team to score wins. The twist is that you have to get the ball through a hoop using only your knees. The game could take hours to play. The game is often played between rivaling cities and tribes. It is disputed whether or not the winning or losing team was sacrificed. In Aztec culture, it was an honor to be sacrificed. And then we have Pitoli, a gambling game. The game board had an X shape, which was then divided into 52 squares. Each player would be given 10 jade pebbles to use for betting. Each player would then be given 6 beans to use as game pieces to move. 5 cacao beans were with a white dot on each bean was used as dice. Basically, you move around the board until you had all of your opponent's jade pieces. The game is very similar to the game Trouble, kind of mixed with checkers. In conclusion, it's a polytheistic religion. They sacrifice people to prevent the earth from dying. They had some hardcore games, and they love to celebrate with festivals to honor their gods. And then here is our bibliography.